From my standpoint, the primary conversations that we've had last night and today are just checking in. Are you good? How can we help?
And it looked like Caitlin Clark could be refusing to use Indiana Fever medical staff.
Stephanie White under fire by Fever fans. She blasted her team.
The Indiana Fever locker room is about to explode, and Stephanie White is at the center of the most shocking coaching controversy of the season. Behind closed doors, tensions are reaching a boiling point between the head coach and her superstar player Caitlin Clark, and what's happening right now could tear this team apart.
As the coach of the Indiana Fever, it's not a bigger deal than our long-term season.
Sources close to the organization are revealing that White is absolutely livid about Clark's approach to injury management and training protocols. The friction started when Clark began working with outside trainers during her recent groin injury, completely bypassing the Fever's medical staff and leaving White feeling disrespected and undermined as the head coach.
They stated whatever the medical staff is doing right now, it is unfortunately not enough.
But this story goes way deeper than just training disagreements. This is about power, control, and two strong personalities clashing over who really runs this team. And the fallout could change everything about the Indiana Fever's championship hopes. Get ready for the most explosive behind-the-scenes drama that's about to shake the WNBA to its core. Ever since Stephanie White took over as head coach, she's been trying to establish her authority and put her stamp on this Fever team. She came in with big plans, championship dreams, and the expectation that everyone would fall in line with her system, including the league's biggest superstar.
With the exception of about 2 5-minute spurts, our attention to detail was poor. I'm not sure if it's not knowing the game plan as much as, because if it's not knowing the game plan, then that's a whole nother.
But Caitlin Clark isn't just any player. She's the face of women's basketball, the reason attendance has skyrocketed, and frankly, she's bigger than the coach, the team, and maybe even the entire league. And that reality is creating some serious tension behind the scenes. The problem started during Clark's recent groin injury when she suffered that scary moment against the Connecticut Sun. White initially downplayed the injury, giving what fans called a cold and weak response when asked about Clark's condition. That response sent Fever fans into an absolute frenzy, with many calling for White to be fired for not properly protecting their golden girl.
He stated Caitlin Clark appears to have re-aggravated her right adductor groin strain. The trick part about a groin strain is that they are very slow healing tissue, easy to re-injure, and consistently required for anything involving the legs.
Indiana Fever fans weren't pleased with Coach Stephanie White's comments about Caitlin Clark, and fans actually wanted White fired for her weak response to Clark's injury situation. The backlash was swift and brutal, with social media exploding in criticism of the new head coach. But here's where things get really messy. Sources are saying that Clark decided to take control of her own recovery process, bringing in outside trainers and specialists that she trusts instead of relying solely on the Fever's medical team. This decision sent White through the roof. White sees this as a direct challenge to her authority. She's the head coach. She's supposed to make decisions about player health and training protocols. But Clark, being the superstar she is, essentially said, "I'm doing this my way," and completely bypassed the chain of command. The tension reached a breaking point when White actually had to kick Clark out of the coach's seat during a game, reminding Clark of her place. Can you imagine? The head coach having to put her own superstar player in check because Clark was overstepping boundaries. This isn't just about trainers anymore. This is about who really controls this team. Is it the head coach who's supposed to be in charge? Or is it the superstar player who brings in all the fans and revenue? White is reportedly furious because she feels like Clark is undermining her credibility with the entire organization. How can she coach other players and demand respect when her biggest star is openly ignoring team protocols and doing whatever she wants? But Clark's side of the story is equally compelling. She's dealing with a nagging injury that could affect her entire career. She's under enormous pressure to perform at the highest level, and she's probably thinking, why should I trust people I don't know with my body when I can work with specialists who have proven track records? The drama is getting so intense that fans are getting frustrated with White's cold response to Clark enduring rough treatment throughout the season. They want their coach to be a protector, not someone who seems indifferent to their superstar's struggles.
But my thing is, Stephanie, you have to take accountability too.
Behind the scenes, this conflict is creating chaos throughout the organization. Players are choosing sides. Front office executives are panicking about the potential drama affecting team chemistry. And agents are probably whispering in ears about how dysfunction like this could impact future contracts. Think about the impossible position White is in right now. She's a new head coach trying to establish herself with a team that revolves around a player who's more famous and powerful than she is. Every decision she makes gets scrutinized through the lens of, is she being fair to Caitlin Clark?
That's competitive fire, and that's unacceptable.
But at the same time, White has to maintain some level of authority. She can't let players, even superstars, just ignore team rules and protocols whenever they feel like it. If she allows Clark to do whatever she wants, what message does that send to the rest of the roster? The situation is made even more complicated by the fact that Clark's injury management is directly affecting the team's performance on the court. White has expressed concerns about Clark after recent losses, and you have to wonder if those concerns are about basketball performance or about the growing rift between coach and player. Here's what makes this situation absolutely explosive for the Fever's future. This isn't going away anytime soon. Clark is going to continue managing her body the way she thinks is best. White is going to continue trying to assert her authority as head coach, and these two approaches are on a collision course that could destroy everything. The fans are watching every interaction between them now. Every press conference gets analyzed for signs of tension. Every timeout huddle gets scrutinized for body language clues. The microscope on this relationship is so intense that even normal coaching decisions look like personal attacks. What happens if Clark's outside trainers recommend something that conflicts with what the Fever medical staff wants? What happens if White makes a decision about Clark's playing time that the superstar disagrees with? What happens if this tension starts affecting other players and team chemistry? The scary part is that both sides have legitimate points. White deserves to have her authority respected as the head coach. But Clark also deserves to have control over her own body and career. This isn't a simple right versus wrong situation. This is two people with different priorities trying to coexist in a high-pressure environment. And the timing couldn't be worse. The Fever are supposed to be championship contenders. They're supposed to be building something special around Clark's incredible talent. Instead, they're dealing with behind-the-scenes drama that could sabotage everything they've worked for. The pressure on White is absolutely immense right now. She's already been fined by the league for criticizing officiating, showing that she's willing to fight for her players. But fighting the league is different from fighting your own superstar player.
Caitlin Clark is no longer dealing with Stephanie White and these coaches and this Indiana Fever medical staff.
Fans are split right down the middle. Some think White needs to show more loyalty and protection toward Clark. Others think Clark needs to respect the chain of command and work within the system. The division is tearing the fan base apart just like it's potentially tearing the team apart. What makes this story even more dramatic is that everyone knows Clark holds all the power in this relationship. If she really wanted White gone, she probably has enough influence to make that happen. The coach serves at the pleasure of the superstar, not the other way around. But does Clark actually want White gone? Or is she just trying to take care of her own interests while hoping the coach will understand? The mixed signals and conflicting reports make it impossible to know what's really happening behind closed doors. The tension has reached a breaking point now that Clark has officially returned to practice. After missing 5 games with that groin injury, she's back on the court and everyone is watching to see how this explosive situation plays out in real time. Clark missed 10 games this season, including the last 5 with a left groin injury, and this was her first time back on the court in July. But here's the crazy part. White said Clark is ready to start ramping back up and has been allowed to participate in some, but not all, of practice. Notice that language? Allowed to participate? That sounds like the coach is still trying to maintain control over her superstar player's comeback. White is being smart and cautious and playing the long game. But is that really what Clark wants to hear after working with her own outside trainers to get healthy? The power struggle is real and happening right now. White says they're going to work her back in very intentionally, which sounds like coach speak for, I'm still in charge here. But Clark has already shown she's willing to take control of her own recovery process. Every single practice session is now a potential flashpoint. Is Clark following White's cautious approach, or is she pushing to get back faster because she trusts her outside trainers more than the team's medical staff? The drama is happening in real time, and neither side is backing down. Here's the bottom line that has everyone holding their breath. The Indiana Fever's championship dreams might depend on whether Stephanie White and Caitlin Clark can figure out how to work together despite their fundamental disagreements about authority, control, and team protocols. If they can find a way to respect each other's positions and compromise on the difficult issues, this team could be unstoppable. But if this tension continues to escalate, it could destroy everything from the inside out and waste one of the most talented rosters in WNBA history. The drama is real, the stakes are enormous, and the resolution could determine not just the fate of the Indiana Fever, but the future of both Stephanie White's coaching career and Caitlin Clark's relationship with the organization that drafted her. This is the kind of behind-the-scenes conflict that could make or break a franchise, and right now, nobody knows which way it's going to go. But one thing is certain, the tension between these two strong personalities is about to reach a breaking point, and when it does, the entire basketball world will be watching. If you think Stephanie White needs to step up and better support Caitlin Clark, or if you believe Clark needs to respect her coach's authority, drop your thoughts in the comments below.